Debates in the Fifth Dimension, Episode 1. The arrival written for audio performance. The cold open darkness. Thick, velvety darkness smelling of formaldehyde and library books bound in human skin. A match strikes like a cracking femur, illuminating a rotting face that time forgot but nightmares remembered. Heh. Welcome, boils and ghouls, to a debate where the polls are closed forever. The crypt keeper pops out of a coffin shaped like a ballot box, dust exploding like powdered bone. His fingers grip the lid as he hoists himself upright with the enthusiasm of a corpse who has waited millennia for this punchline. Tonight, a former president who thinks a witch hunt is just a bad date on Tinder versus the greatest of all time. Ready to sting like a corpse in rigor mortis. One sells you the American dream. The other lived it, lost it, and learned the price. Hey. He leans into the camera, skin stretching like parchment. A worm crawls out of his ear, pauses, looks at the camera, and crawls back in. Even the maggots know better than to miss this. The pundits say democracy is dying. Here in the Fifth Dimension, we know the truth. It is already decomposing. The exit polls show 100% chance of existential dread. The only question left is, who profits from the funeral? Aha. He adjusts a tiny American flag pin on his tattered suit. It immediately rusts and falls off, clattering into the coffin. And you? Watching this, you are the mark and the dealer, the victim and the accomplice. Do not pretend you are not entertained. That is why you are here. Grab your popcorn. Extra butter, extra blood. Because in this election, the only thing running is your time. And the odds makers, they are not even human anymore. Ah. Coffins. The match extinguishes. And somewhere in the void, Iron Maiden begins to build. A distant rumble of drums. The first whisper of a guitar riff that sounds like the end of everything and the beginning of something worse. The Colosseum of the Damned, my boots hit neon veined stone with a wet slap. This arena is where time does not fly, it frays, snaps, and whips you in the face like a cheap tie in a hurricane. I am Gene Okerlund, mean Gene to the wrestling faithful. But here in the Fifth Dimension, I am simply the ringmaster, sweating through a tuxedo that feels less like formal wear and more like a polyester shroud stitched by a drunk tailor in a dimension where fabric has feelings and resents being worn. And let me be clear, I am as complicit as anyone. I am here to sell you the spectacle while pretending to critique it. I will describe the horror with enough poetry to make you think I am different from the barkers and hucksters I claim to expose. But I still cash the checks. I still hold the mic. The circus needs a ringmaster, and I volunteered because I wanted the spotlight more than I wanted to tell you to leave. So welcome. I promise to tell you the truth about the lies, except the ones I am telling. The air is gin hookah smoke seeking your nostrils with the intimacy of an unwanted houseguest. You taste clove, cosmic dust, regret. Jagged arches of Persian sandstone pulse overhead with bioluminescent sickness, crimson, violet, electric blue, veins throbbing as if the stone were a living, suffering organ. The crowd. To my left, Jinn with obsidian eyes clash steel cups with spectral Saracens. The metal-on-metal ring sounds like a migraine made audible. To my right, AI bots with liquid metal faces ripple next to time-displaced weirdos clutching glowing datapads. A Roman centurion trades crypto tips with a cyborg from the 23rd century. The centurion does not understand. The cyborg does not care. Above, a jumbotron the size of a mountain range cycles through headlines from every era at once. Past, present, future that may or may not arrive. Time here is not a river, it is a lake. Everything happens at once. Everything is happening now. The screen blazes posts like neon wires. American Dream lost. Tariff Tango. War Eternal. Yellow Line Death. Zero captured. Caracas. In the cheap seats. Because even in the Fifth Dimension there are cheap seats. Bernie Sanders sits with a cardboard sign. The billionaire class owns the void. But his eyes are already calculating the distance to the ring. In this dimension, political relevance creates its own gravity. Not metaphorically, actually. The angrier the crowd gets, the stronger the gravitational field pulling demagogues toward the center. Bernie does not choose to drift closer. Physics chooses for him. Outrage is mass. Attention is orbit. He cannot resist any more than a moon can resist a planet. The truly terrifying part, he knows this, and he is fine with it. In the upper stands, Richard Nixon dabs his forehead with a handkerchief already soaked through, leaving wet spots on his jowls that glisten under the neon-like gilt made visible. I am not a crook, he mutters to no one in particular. This debate is about security, national security, dimensional security. No one listens. No one ever listens to Nixon anymore. 3 rows down, Michael Myers sits motionless, a white mask void of patient menace. A falafel stuck to his shoulder he has not noticed or does not care, or caring is not in his programming. His knife rests across his lap, catching the light, waiting for something only he can see. The seats around him are empty. Self-preservation is universal. Then the sound hits. Iron Maiden rips through the haze, the opening riff a sonic blade. The drums pound like a heart under a suffocating bell jar, a relentless, galloping beat of existential doom that makes your teeth vibrate and your soul question its lease agreement with your body. On a rune-carved stage hewn from Titan bones and lesser gods' regrets, Eddie looms, 20 feet of skeletal monstrosity, tattered cape flapping in a wind that is not there, eye sockets glowing green with visceral menace that chills the marrow. Literally, you can feel your bones getting colder. He raises a bony arm and conducts the chaos like a maestro of the macabre. The crowd screams his name. Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. From the stands, Don Rickles stands. His face is a roadmap of insults waiting to happen. Hey, Eddie, nice cape. What, did you mug a vampire at Goodwill? You look like death warmed over. And I mean that literally. You are an actual skeleton. At least put on some pants. You are scaring the AI bots. Eddie's skull turns slowly. The green glow intensifies. Then impossibly the skeleton winks. The crowd loses its collective mind. The broadcast booth folks. The voice booms from the heavens, shaking fillings. Jesse Ventura leans into his mic from a neon-lit booth suspended by chains of pure logic. Chains that flicker, because logic is having a hard time here. His mohawk is a jagged crest, each spike rigid with enough hair product to violate regulations in 3 timelines. He squints with conspiratorial intensity that could melt steel beams. And do not think he has not said that phrase 14 times tonight. This ain't no debate. It is a cosmic conspiracy. A battle for the truth matrix. Trump versus Ali, slugging it out to rewrite reality. Loses void bound. Winner gets a book deal and a podcast. Beside him, Sam Rothstein sits cool as a cucumber marinated in liquid nitrogen. His suit sharp as a Vegas blade. He scribbles in a leather-bound ledger smelling of brimstone and bad bets. Jesse, the smart money is moving faster than a crooked dealer at a table of marks. Ali's odds are skyrocketing. Trump's chaos is a sucker's bet. You calling it already? I know a con when I smell one. This one smells like spray tan and desperation. Hovering between them, translucent and flickering like bad reception, is George Carlin's ghost. Black t-shirt like a uniform, beard a silver ghost of rebellion, eyes carrying the exhaustion of a man who tried to warn everyone and watch them buy the merchandise instead. You know what the saddest part is? What, George? I spent 50 years telling people the game is rigged. Show them exactly how. Names, dates, money trails. And you know what they did? Carlin's ghost shrugs with the weight of a civilization. They nodded, they laughed, they clapped. Then they went home and voted for the riggers. Because at least their rigger had the right team jersey. The planet is fine. The people are messed up. Pack your stuff, folks. We are going away. And before you go, they are going to sell you something. That is all they ever do. They sell you the problem. Then they sell you the solution. Then they sell you the problem with the solution. Birth, school, work, debt, confusion, death. And somewhere in there, they convince you to buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. He looks directly at the camera, through it, into living rooms he will never see. I tried, I really did. But you cannot wake someone who is pretending to be asleep. And this whole country has been pretending since 1913. Enjoy the freak show. Carlin's got that prophetic fire tonight. He is dead, Jesse. Nothing but time and disappointment. Carlin shrugs. He is not wrong. The existential framework. From a shadow that should not exist in a place with this many neon lights, a figure emerges. Dressed like a 19th century undertaker who got lost on the way to a philosophy seminar. Black coat, high collar, eyes that have stared into the abyss so long the abyss filed a restraining order. Soren Kierkegaard adjusts his spectacles and clears his throat. Nobody notices. He clears it again louder. Excuse me. His Danish accent cuts through the chaos like a scalpel of despair. The crowd pauses. Nixon stops dabbing. Even Myers tilts his head, a subtle movement, barely perceptible but present. The knife does not move, but the attention shifts. Kierkegaard now exists in the periphery of that patient, inevitable gaze. You want to know why this place exists? Kierkegaard gestures around the arena. Every lie you told yourself. I will start Monday. This time it is different. I am fine. It calcified here. This dimension is your denial-made architecture. He points at a grotesque arch that seems to be screaming silently. That screaming arch, every email you marked read later. That pulsing wall, every call you said you would return. You built this, procrastination, with willful ignorance, with the comfort of not knowing. He sweeps his arm across the crowd. You see these people, the spectators? They are not innocent. They are participants. They voted for the liars because the liars promised to let them keep lying to themselves. You think you are here to watch Trump and Ali fight? No. You are here because you paid admission. You funded the circus. You demanded bread and games and you got what you paid for. He produces a small notebook. The leap of faith is the only exit, but nobody wants to leap. They want escalators. someone else to do the leaping. And so you get entertainment instead of enlightenment, spectacle instead of salvation, a debate instead of a decision. He pinches the bridge of his nose. I will be watching. When the truth glitches and you must choose whether to believe your eyes or your comfort, remember, I told you so. And you will choose comfort. You always do. That is why you are here. From 3 rows up, Jerry Seinfeld leans forward, gesturing with bewildered precision. So what you're saying is, we built this place. With our excuses? That seems like a lot of responsibility. I came here for the debate. The snacks are terrible, by the way. The falafel situation is a disaster. And the valet's a skeleton. I gave him my keys. He doesn't have pockets. Where are the keys, Søren? Where are the keys? Kierkegaard stares at him. You are doing it now. Doing what? Avoiding the question by making it a joke. Reducing existential weight to observational complaint. This is exactly how the dimension was built. One deflection at a time. Seinfeld pauses. Something flickers behind his eyes. Recognition, perhaps. Then, that's the bit. That's always been the bit. Kierkegaard nods slowly. Yes, it always has been. And the bit is the cage. The arena goes quiet. Even Rickles has nothing to say. Great talk. Ventura yells from the booth, breaking the silence. Sam, what are the odds on existentialism? Long, Jesse, very long. The parade of egos, I grip my mic. Violet sparks biting my. Let's meet the warriors. A rumble shakes the floor. A gold-plated golf cart the size of a tank bursts into the arena, chrome glinting under alien suns. It blares Sweet Caroline through speakers that sound like a karaoke machine drowning, while trying to maintain dignity. Donald Trump emerges, orange face glowing like a fever dream pumpkin, carved by someone with strong opinions and weak artistic skills. Hair a defiant, gravity-defying crest of spun sugar, lacquered with enough hairspray to create its own microclimate. He clutches a silken flag that flutters like a war banner from a forgotten, stupider age. He is flanked by Gordon Gekko, suspenders that cost more than my soul, smirking with shark-teeth eyes, tapping a holographic ticker that scrolls in sickening detail. Hope down 47%, dignity trading at $0. 003, future mortgage-backed and bundled. Bye bye bye. Beside him, Al Chervik in a garish Hawaiian shirt swings a cosmic golf club with manic glee. I am the greatest, folks. Tremendous. Huge. They come up to me, generals, CEOs, very important people, and they say, Sir, how do you do it? Sir, you are amazing. Sir, we have never seen anything like it. Natural talent, unbelievable talent. Nobody has ever seen talent like this. Trump chops the air with hands too small for the chaos they summon. His right eye twitches, just once, barely noticeable. But I noticed. And somewhere in the booth, I know Rothstein noticed too. In Vegas, you learn to see the tells. Then, from the opposite tunnel, a different sound. No music, just the shuffle of feet, the whisper of silk. Muhammad Ali glides into the arena, shadowboxing with a grace that makes time itself jealous. His robe shimmers gold and crimson under the lights. Behind him, 2 pillars of different centuries. Saladin, armor gleaming with the dignity of a warrior scholar, and Malcolm X, eyes carrying the fire of a man who looked at America and refused to blink. Ali stops center ring, looks at Trump, looks at the crowd, looks at me. Then he speaks, and the whole dimension goes quiet. You cannot debate a lie with logic. You can only show the truth and let people choose. He begins to shuffle. That hypnotic, impossible footwork. So let us dance. The topic, the American dream. I raise the mic, gentlemen. Topic 1, the American dream myth, reality, or multi-level marketing scheme. Trump lunges forward. The American dream is me, folks. I am the dream. Small loan of $1 million. Practically peanuts. Look at this Coliseum. I built this. The Void. I leased it. Great deal on the Void. Nobody was using it. Total disaster before Trump. From Ali's corner, a voice like rolling thunder. Saladin steps forward. You built nothing. You inherited the clay and hired others to shape it. The bricklayer built your tower. The cleaner maintains your gold. You are the sign on the building, not the foundation. He pauses, his voice carrying across centuries. You cannot build paradise on stolen ground. The foundation cracks, the walls lean. Every generation patches, but the structure remembers its origins. The dream was always a Tower of Babel, reaching for heaven while built on bones. Trump waves dismally. Haters. So many haters, probably jealous. Sad Ali stops moving, plants his feet. I am going to tell you about the American dream, Donald. Not the one you sell, the one I lived. The arena leans in. I was born black in Kentucky, when being black in Kentucky was a crime the law had not gotten around to writing down yet. Could not eat at certain restaurants. Could not use certain bathrooms. The American dream said, wait, be patient. Your time will come. But I did not wait. I took it, in the ring, with these hands. He raises his fists. I beat every man they put in front of me. Became the heavyweight champion of the world. And you know what I learned? The dream is not free. Someone pays, and it is never the people selling it. From the crowd a voice, not spectral, not historical, a woman in a server's uniform, a spectral form flickering with the exhaustion of 3 jobs and no time. I pay every month, rent goes up, wages stay flat, my child's asthma medicine costs more than my car payment. But I am supposed to smile because I live in the land of opportunity. A man beside her, construction vest still dusty, joins in. I built those towers, my back, my hands. But I cannot afford to live in the neighborhoods I built. The American dream, I poured the foundation. Someone else got the penthouse. Trump shifts uncomfortably. His eye twitches again. Ali nods to them. These are the people who paid. While you counted, Malcolm X steps forward. The American dream, a timeshare pitch. You are the mark. They show you the brochure, house, car, retirement. But read the fine print. You are buying debt with a view. The dream is not yours. You are renting it. The landlord is backstage, counting your payments while you applaud. Gecko smirks from Trump's corner. Debt is not a problem. It is an opportunity. Leverage is the engine of growth. Ali laughs, not cruel, sad. Growth for who, Gordon? Not the people, not the workers. You take their labor and their hope. You grow. The banks grow. We shrink. The historical intervention from the shadows, 2 figures emerge. Translucent but solid with the weight of legacy. Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson, their powdered wigs and period dress absurd, yet somehow commanding. Jefferson speaks first, voice carrying the contradiction of a man who wrote, "All men are created equal," while enslaving hundreds. The Federal Reserve, 1913, a private banking cartel given power to print currency in the name of the public. We fought a revolution to escape such arrangements. Jackson nods, rage eternal. I killed the second bank, told him exactly why. You cannot let private interests control public money. It is theft at a national scale. Trump looks genuinely confused. The Fed? I appointed people to the Fed. I know more about the Fed than anyone. Great people, the best. They came to me. Sir, you understand monetary policy better than anyone, sir. Ali smiles. You appointed people to the Fed. That is like a prisoner appointing his own guards. They still answer to the warden, Donald. And the warden is not you. Jefferson and Jackson share a look. Then, impossibly, they begin to applaud. Slow, deliberate. The boxer speaks truth we could not, Jackson says. We wrote about freedom while enslaving. We preached equality while seizing land. He actually lived the cost of the dream. And still fights. Jefferson adds, quieter. We planted the seeds of this. The contradiction was always there. Trump merely harvested what we sowed. Ali turns to them, acknowledging the complexity. You wrote the words. But the words meant nothing without the blood to back them. My blood, their blood. He gestures to the working class specters. That is the real dream, not the words. The willingness to pay for them. Malcolm X steps beside Ali. Every person in this arena who ever lost a house, lost a job, lost a dream, they paid for your leverage. And you call that the American dream? The prophetic climax Ali begins to move again, that rhythm returning. The American dream? I saw it. In the eyes of the man sweeping your floors at 3 in the morning. In the mother working 3 jobs to buy bread that costs more every year. You talk about gold letters on a building? I am talking about chains on the soul. His voice rises, finding the old cadence, the one that made him a poet and a prophet. You sell a dream that is plastic and fake, a sugary lie that gives you a bellyache. You got the tower, you got the jet, but you ain't seen the people sweating in debt. The dream ain't a building, it ain't a brand. It is justice and peace across the land. You want to make America great? Start by putting some love on the plate. But all you serve is fear and hate. The crowd explodes. Saladin slams sword against shield like a war drum. Speak truth, brother. The Sultan of Truth strikes. Jefferson and Jackson both applaud, their ghostly forms flickering with approval and shame. The recognition that exposes everyone, even the dead. Ali locks eyes with Trump. Every insult you throw is a confession. You call me a loser because you are terrified of losing. You call me a fraud because you know your gold is painted. You are not fighting me, Donald. He leans in close. You are fighting the mirror, and the mirror is winning. Trump opens his mouth to respond. His eye twitches, not subtly this time, violently. 3 rapid spasms like a system misfiring. No words come. The run in the arena lights turn red. A siren wails. Bernie Sanders scrambles over the ropes. His gravitational drift finally complete, physics delivering him to center stage, and grabs the mic. Let me be very clear. A debate between a billionaire who inherited his wealth and a boxer who fought for every dime. The top 1/10 of 1% own 90% of the existential dread. It is rigged. The whole system is rigged. Trump rolls his eyes. The twitch still visible. Crazy Bernie. Free falafels for everyone. Disaster. Total disaster. In the stands, a falafel slides off Michael Myers' shoulder and lands on the floor with a wet plop. He does not react. He never reacts. But something in the arena notices. Bernie looks at his own hands, still gripping the mic. For a moment, something flickers across his face, recognition, perhaps, that even righteous anger can be harvested, that even truth can become content. But the moment passes. There is a system to fight. There is always a system to fight. Malcolm X steps forward from Ali's corner, his voice carrying across the arena with the precision of a surgeon's blade. The dream you speak of is a nightmare for the darker nations, built on stolen land, unpaid labor. Right now, this very moment, they draw a yellow line in the sand at Gaza and shoot anything that crosses it. Children, medics, journalists. That is the dream enforced. That is the dream protected. You cannot build justice on a foundation of theft. The math does not work. It never has. The crowd goes quiet. The truth lands like a bomb that does not explode. It just sits there, ticking. Myers shifts in his seat. The knife catches light. The patient observation continues. The glitch, the jumbotron flickers. The American flag dissolves into static. Hashtags garble into binary. The crowd murmurs. Someone screams. A djinn drops his cup. For 3 seconds, the feed cuts to something else. A dark room. Multiple screens showing the arena from angles that should not exist. The back of a head, ears like satellite dishes, barely visible in shadow. A second figure hunched. The sound of mechanical breathing, rhythmic and horrible. A voice like gravel grinding against a tombstone. Stabilize it. The ocular implant is glitching. Or I liquidate the assets. A younger voice, servile. Yes, Mr. Cheney. The screen snaps back. The arena is frozen. Everyone saw it. No one wants to admit it. Somewhere in that dark room, Cheney adjusts a dial he believes controls everything. He does not notice the chains on his own chair. The warden is always the last to realize the prison has no outside. The aftershock trump blinks rapidly. His eye twitches violently, repeatedly. He suddenly hugs the flag, burying his face in it. I love the flag. Nobody loves cloth more than me. Tremendous cloth. His voice sounds wrong. Robotic. The cadence is off. Ali stops dancing. Stares at Trump's twitching eye. Then the jumbotron. Then me. Something ain't right, Gene. That man just glitched like a broken record. But I cannot see the DJ. In the upper stands, Nixon stops dabbing. His eyes go wide. His hands tremble. I knew it. I knew there were tapes. There are always tapes. They are always listening. For once his paranoia is justified. From the shadows, Kierkegaard's voice cuts through like a scalpel. The leap of faith. His spectacles catch the dying neon. I told you the moment would come. Believe your eyes or believe your comfort. Choose. Rothstein mutters, almost to himself. He was always going to do what they wanted. The implant just made him reliable. I look at the camera. My hands are shaking. Folks, we seem to be having technical difficulties with reality. Do not touch that dial. You might erase your own existence. Ventura screams from the booth, his conspiracy theories suddenly sounding less insane. I told you, the military-industrial joystick complex. They are not even hiding it anymore. Rothstein shuts his ledger, his face pale. No more bets, this game is fixed. And the house is not even human. Beetlejuice appears center ring in a referee's shirt, blowing a whistle that sounds like a scream. Round 1 is over, baby. But the nightmare is just starting. Stick around for round 2. Tariffs, wars, and whoever is pulling the strings. It is going to be showtime. He throws glitter into the air. It turns into spiders. The crowd screams. The bell tolls. Carlin's ghost speaks one last time, his voice carrying the weight of decades, screaming into the void. I told you. I told all of you. But you wanted the show more than the truth. And in the dark corners, Michael Myers finally stands. His knife catches the dying light. He tilts his head, considering. The patient observation is over. Then he begins to walk toward the ring. Not fast, never fast, but inevitable. The way truth always is. End of episode 1 to be continued.